The most productive people on earth, they get the same amount of time, right? Beyonce has 24 hours. I've got 24 hours. What am I not doing right? Why am I not Beyonce, Carey? So what are the habits of those people who handle the time the best?
Well, the first, and this sounds small, but it was really big in my life because I would always say things when I was burning out and in the stress spiral. It would be like, well, George, I just don't have time for that. I don't have time. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to answer that person's question. I don't have time to start a new project. I don't have time to write a book. I don't have time to launch a podcast. I don't have time for any of that. And then I had that realization that, oh my goodness, Carey, you've got the same amount of time as any other human being on planet Earth. And that was really sobering and initially really depressing because I'm like, I see these like hyper effective people and they don't get any more time. Like if I got promoted to the CEO of a Fortune 50 company, nobody says, here's an eighth day. Here's like 26 hours in a day, right? You got to figure it out. So I thought I'm going to be a disaster. So I made this little switch that I would encourage everyone listening to try it. All right, just try this. This is super easy. Stop saying you don't have the time. Just banish that from your vocabulary because you do. Stop saying things. Listen to your language. Do an audit. Do you ever find yourself saying, I didn't get a chance to do it? Well, you did get a chance to do it. You just didn't do it. Other things like, oh yeah, I couldn't get to it. Actually, you could have gotten to it. And when I made myself be honest with myself, I stopped saying, I don't have the time to do it. And I started admitting I didn't make it. So think about your mom who's been waiting for that phone call for so long, George. And you're like, I'm too busy today. I'm too busy. Personal attack, George, right? Your mom's waiting for a phone call and you're like, oh, I don't have time to call her today. I don't have time. Well, when a month goes by and you still haven't called your mom, and we've all been guilty of that in seasons, it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't make the time to call my mom. What does that mean? And so I find getting honest about your vocabulary is really, really important. And the other thing that's really challenging, I do have a very balanced life, and Christy Wright has a great new book on that, which is so helpful. But I like to also think of my time in terms of passion. So there are only so many things that you can decide to do, right? Like I can decide to go out for dinner with these people. I can decide to take on a new client. I can decide to write a book. But wherever you are, be there fully. And so what I've tried to do is think about my life in terms of passion. If I'm going to go to work, I want to throw myself into my work for those 8 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours, whatever that day looks like. But if I'm going to go out on the boat, I don't want to be checking my phone and doing work and being half present with my family. So I want to, whatever I allow into my life, whatever I allow into my calendar, I want to do it with passion. And I found that to be so helpful. So don't lie to yourself. Stop, pretending you don't have the time, because you do. You have the time to work out. And as I've trained leaders, it's amazing. In the first chapter of the book, I have some success stories. And I think about this guy named John who said, you know what, I stopped making excuses and I went to the gym and I started eating clean. It takes a little bit longer than just popping a candy bar every time you're hungry, but he lost 70 pounds. And there was a mom of a newborn who said, I wanted to launch a podcast and I did. Now she's got a newborn. I don't know how she did that, but she did it because they stopped making excuses. They implemented these strategies we're talking about and they started to realize their dreams.
Wow, that's powerful to get to the point where you admit, I didn't make the time. And it puts the responsibility back on you, which guess what is leadership, right? Where you have to take personal responsibility and go, well, if everything's just happening to me and I don't have the time, well, that's out of my control. But to own that is such a powerful place to be where you're in the driver's seat again. So let's talk about balance versus passion here. What is the difference between someone who's balanced and someone who is passionate?
Well, balance can be a really good thing again, and appreciate what Christy has to say about that. But often if you hear it, you got to be a student of how people talk about balance. Often balance seems like a retreat. It seems like, okay, I'm going to do less work. I'm going to do less of everything. And I'm like, well, I kind of want my life to be about an advance. I don't want to be in retreat. So when I think about John Wesley is reported to have said, the internet with quotes, but he's reported to have said, light yourself on fire with passion and people will come from miles to watch you burn. And I think there's something really true. Passion changes the world. Balanced people rarely do. And so what I want to see is when I'm at work, when I'm in this, I'm not distracted. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not thinking about what I have to do this afternoon. I want to be locked in on this conversation. Do you know how many times, the real difference between what I see as a high capacity leader and an average leader is when you're in with a truly high performing leader, they have all the time in the world for you. They are totally focused in on you. They're not checking their phone. I've been with other leaders who literally have interviewed me and they're like answering texts while I'm answering a question. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I want to be fully present. And of course, the quality of your work increases when you do that. So if you're going to write, focus on writing. If you're really going to nurture this relationship with a customer, go there, listen to the customer, all distractions aside, be fully engaged, give them your full attention. And honestly, if you're going to take a nap, enjoy it, man. Don't feel guilty. Like go lie on the couch and sleep for 25 minutes, have a nap, get up feeling refreshed. If you're having a day off with your family at the beach, be at the beach. And if you want to get 8 hours of sleep at night, enjoy it, man. Like go and be passionate. And what I found I used to do was I was skimming over everything. Now on the things I allow on my calendar, I want to do a deep dive. And maybe you've got too many clients. Wouldn't it be better instead of having 100 clients if you had 50 great ones that didn't complain as much, that you could service a little bit better? And maybe there's a landscaper that I work with, and he's been helping us at our house for a few years. And I remember he had a problem a couple of years ago and he was saying, yeah, these clients, they never want to pay me and everything. And then they're always complaining because I didn't do it quite right. And I said, why don't you just fire some of your clients? So now he has a handful of clients and they tend to pay a little bit better and they don't complain. And things have gotten better. And now he can throw himself into the work a lot better. So sometimes less is more.